research.
Hey guys, welcome to the Little Big Circle where we're little in size and
big in conversation.
Yes. My name is Peggy and I am your host.
And I'm Judy. I'm your co-host.
And I'm Keelonda.
I'm Tessie.
It's your boy. Let's go. Turn up.
Yes.
Yes.
So let's dig in.
We're
talking about gender roles in the household.
Wow.
That's still a thing. Is it still a thing to have male and female roles? Who wants to go first?
Oh,
is it a thing?
I'm going to
off, Kiki.
All don't jump at one time. We about to shoot it to Kiki. Come on, Kiki.
Right.
Well, I don't know if it's as strong as it used to be, because now in society it's not so much of just male and female roles in the household. You have now, marriages where it consists of male and male, female and female. So I don't know how much it is strong. I know from my house, it is very important for gender roles. I feel like the male has a role in the household, and I feel like the woman has a role in the household, as well as that's how I was brought up. So I'll give it 50-50.
You give it 50-50?
Yeah, I think some houses, because how can you say gender role if it's not just consistent of male and female? So I can't say that.
So I'm thinking what Judea is trying to say. Do you think it should be? Is it still? So you don't think so? You think it's 50-50? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, I believe that I do, because in the society now, if you go back in time, you could kind of consider that. But now I wouldn't put a stigma on it, because there is not just male and females in the home anymore.
Good. How much?
Society-wise, yeah. But me, personally, I don't like to take the trash out.
Okay.
You want to take the trash out? Let me take mine.
No,
I'm be like, Harold, the trash. And then he tried to make our daughter take the trash out. And I'm like, no, what? She can't touch that trash. Tell the boy. I'm so and he's like, what do you mean? What if she lives on her own? She gonna have to take the trash out one day.
And his mother takes the trash out. Okay.
Oh man. You just made me look bad.
Whatever. I don't think I should have to take trash out. And I don't even think it's because I think that in relationships you have roles and people have roles. I was talking to this guy and he's like, he was asking me about gender roles. And he was like, do you think the woman should have to wash the dishes? I said, I don't think I should have to wash silverware. It's just my personal preference. It's not because I'm a woman. It's because I don't like to wash silverware. So I need to be with a guy who's going to be like, go ahead, get all them plates and stuff, but just leave the silverware and I'll take care of it. So I think it's not like the big overreaching gender roles where all women do laundry and all men go to work. I think inside of households, gender roles still exist, but they might not be the
traditional.
Yeah, the traditional roles. I think that there are some households where women just cook, but there are some households where men just cook, and I need to be in one of those because I can cook, but I would prefer if I was with a man who was like, but let me cook because men cook, and I'd be like, oh baby, they do cook. You so sweet. And that would be like
not the old baby.
Not the old baby.
I just think with the gender, when you say gender role, I think it's just whatever suits each other. Like me, I love to cook because I like to explore cooking. I like to cook, but my husband also likes to cook. So he likes to make lasagnas and a lot of pasta type of stuff. So he loves doing that, playing that role when it comes time for him to do that. So I just think I was brought up where the husband went to work and the brother took out the trash and the daughters cooked and cleaned the house and the brother only had to do a bathroom. I don't feel that's right. right in this society right now, because my son, you're gonna clean up just like them girls gonna clean up, because I didn't used to feel that was fear in the household, because as women, when there is no male, we play a whole role. We play a lot of many roles. So I don't want my son to just lay there while his wife is just cleaning up and doing everything, and he just get to go to work and sleep, and she getting the kids and doing everything. So I sometimes be passing my son his niece. I'm like, here you go, help out, because I want him to know, as a dad, you need to get your kids, let the wife sit down, let her take a break. But I was brought up in that it was very stern in my house. Like, my father was this way, my mother this way, and then they put it on the kids. And I just felt like I wasn't like that. I know a lot of women in my age group right now have a lot of husbands who cooks. They don't cook, they burn. So the husband cook all the time. So I was like, that's so nice, but I cook all the time, like every day. And some people will come in my house like, Kiki, you cook all the time, but it's something that I love to do. That's how I express my love. That's where I guess I feel like in the gender role of the household, like my husband, he does feel like you should take out the trash. The man should mop the floors. He feel like that's what his role is. Like, he come in mopping floors, and trash needs to be taken out, pulled out. But he's not necessarily the one to go in there and wash no dishes. Like, you made dishes, you can wash them. But he doesn't come in the house and say, let me just wash these dishes because they're here. He feel like, do the kitchen, and or my wife gonna do the dishes. And I feel that's not fair. I feel like you should play your role. Everybody play a role.
You got hands, you need to wash the dishes.
Look, come on, Marlo. I ain't hear from you yet. Let's get it.
So this is I'm gonna jump in with this. I think in a traditional format, some of the gender roles had reversed, because if you look at homes, you have a lot of women that work, and sometimes men think just because I'm a man, I still deserve for her to come in and still play those gender roles and cook and clean when I sat at the house all day. So it has a particular space where, just because whoever's in the home, whoever's doing the work, I would not expect, if my wife that went out there and worked and dealt with folks, you need to come home to a good meal, just like I would expect. Well, I wouldn't even expect it, but whoever, they need to come home to a meal, a bath, something so they can decompress. If my house is not a place where I can decompress, then what is it? But if, here it is with this whole, gender role thing, some men expect for the woman to go out there, pick up the kids, do that, have a meal on the table for you, get your bath water ready, still expect you to get a little something at the end, not work all day. It don't work like that.
Right.
It don't work like that.
High five to that.
High five.
Like you cannot, as a man, we should not expect our women to handle all these hats and we don't help her. Expect, just because I'm the man, you need to do this because I'm the man. What about you, Because when it comes, here's the book. We as men were charged to love. Women were charged to submit. They complement each other. Love and submission complements each other. It doesn't complete us, it complements each other. I'm gonna hold that.
So Marla,
yes. Wait a minute.
We can say that. What do a man, since we're saying gender roles, because I hear a lot of the woman part of the role. As the man on the panel, do a man think his role is?
Well, you want me to talk for me?
Talk for you, Jamala. You.
Oh, because I ain't the regular. So I think as a man, I need to be as much as a nurturer as my future wife would be.
Amen.
I need to be just in the trenches as much as she is. Yeah. I think the role should be straight down the middle. As much as the children see mama, they see daddy.
Yes.
Straight down. If my wife don't feel like cooking, you don't got to cook. You don't feel like cleaning up. Go ahead and hey, let me do something, because it's more about us. It's dual submission. Number one, if I'm submitted to you, then I'm gonna see you and know who you are and know hey, you don't need to be doing all that today. Because trust and believe, love is the secret ingredients with cooking. I don't need you upset cooking. I don't need it. Because you're going to burn something up and slam it on the table. Let me wash the dishes. You got to see a team effort in there.
Yeah.
It's no I in team.
Yeah.
And that's so true.
Okay.
I met a guy one time. No, I met a guy and he asked me, he was like, oh, so you gonna cook for me? So am I gonna cook for you? I don't even cook for my kids. Like, why would I cook for you? What are you doing to encourage me to want to do these things for you? And I think that's where a lot of people miss it. There were like these traditional gender roles that people talk about. It wasn't like, oh, because I'm a woman. It was women didn't work. So women was at home doing every single thing because they couldn't be nowhere else. And this is not that society anymore. And I think the biggest problem is people want to hold on to these 1920 roles in a 2020 society and not follow all the other rules. Like if you go back to 1920 when women was at home cooking and cleaning and doing all this stuff and actually look and do some research, you will find a whole lot of the men who was getting cooked for and cleaned for had another family across town. And so are we going to sit down and take that too? Like if you was at home all day and you didn't go to work nowhere, you was sewing clothes because there wasn't stores. Are you about to sit at home all day and just sew you some dresses? You want to have, you got to take out the trash and pay all the bills and do all this stuff. So do he get to have a whole nother household somewhere? Because that's what was going on during them times. So like, I would prefer to live in a house where we understand sometimes I might have to take out the trash and wash silverware, and you're not going to have no whole other family somewhere because you so-called paying all the bills. You have to find what works in your household. And that's what people lose. They want to like run back to, oh, well, the Bible says that a woman should submit and all this other stuff. And it's like, well, are you being a man to submit to? Are you being a woman who a man should take care of? How are we going to have these stereotypical gender roles when we don't have the same stereotypical genders?
Girl.
That's good. Go ahead, Jadea.
Yes. Well, you brought us right into what I was going to ask. Like, are we in the age of the whole classic traditional gender thing? When I first got married, I didn't know how to cook, like, at all. I didn't know how to cook nothing. I didn't. Me, it was oatmeal, okay, and cereal. I can make you a great bowl, pour you that milk. I didn't know how. So Harold, like, he's the one that taught me how to cook, right? And now I love it. I love to cook. So I cook Monday through Friday. He got the weekends. Monday through Friday, I got dinner. He got breakfast Monday through Friday. I got breakfast on the weekends. And he can't cook too well now. He burns a lot of stuff. But in the beginning, he put the meals on the plate, and that's how we operated, especially when I was going out of home to work. He made sure, dinner was always on time, and he cooked, like he worked from home and he made sure the kids was straight. He brought them to school, picked them up. He even did carpool. He was a soccer dad, and all I did was just come home in the weekends. That's when I was mommy and I was wife. And a lot of people, them old folks probably would tell me I was crazy, first of all, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe your husband does all this and you're not doing, they would have thought I was the man in the relationship just from, the outside looking in. But I think it gave our kids a whole lot of balance because my son is such a nurturer. My daughter, we're working on that, but Jemiah is like great. He knows how to clean up and do their chores when they on it. And then, it just balances out the family. So the traditional gender isn't the same, like you was saying, in a 2-male household or a 2-female household. How does that even, I don't know. I don't live with another woman. Like, I don't know how that works, but I'm assuming it's 50-50 for them too.
Or sometimes you can, like you said, Jadea, you said your husband, if that's a role that you wanted to play for your husband and your children, he was willing to teach you. You understand what I'm saying? I don't feel there's nothing wrong with it. I feel like when the Bible said the two become one, like I always say the saying, two sayings from me and my husband. I was anointed for the job. You understand?
Right.
And two, I say all that work I did to create this man, I'm not going to give away freely to another woman.
I know that's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Work too hard.
Okay. That was an 18-year job. I'm not going to give you that. He came from his mama's house. I had to help him. You see what I'm saying? But he also taught me things in a way that made us come together. Like you said, I think Tessie said it too, where it's not so much of you looking at it as gender roles, because everybody didn't grow up with parents, mother and father. So I guess even with Harold growing up with a mother and father and they played their roles in the house, it kind of allowed him to come in and not be so like, oh, demanding, and more of, okay, understanding. You understand, my wife don't know how to cook. Okay, but I love to have dinner on the table. So let's work together to make this happen. You understand? And I think that's where we need to be now in 2021. It's not so much what you supposed to do or you supposed, because I really was spoiled in that with my husband. My dad worked a lot of jobs to make sure he was a provider, because that's what he was taught. The man is to provide. So I wasn't comfortable with a man sleeping at my house or staying nights. You didn't create this. So I used to feel like that. But what about when a man go down, like he lose his job, and where's the sympathy? Where's, because I was so used to my dad working and I didn't see that happen. So I think that now in society, as we see that, like you said, different roles in the home, I just think it's all implanting, like Tessie said, coming together, working together, whatever suits you as a family.
Finding out what works, what's best.
Come on, Wallow.
Come on, Jay Brown. Come on.
So Kiki, she brings up a valid point. Learning your spouse. When you learn the person, you're able to be that other part of them, that when it comes down to gender roles, if I have learned you and we ain't been together, I put time and invested time in how this thing gonna work. So it doesn't necessarily become a gender role, it becomes what works for this family. It's customized for the family. So, but that has everything to me, dealing with me learning you. You have to learn your spouse. You can't just be out here talking about I'm married and you ain't studied and understand who you dealing with.
Yes.
I'm done right now.
Yeah, I grew up like my stepdad, he worked at the steel mill. He worked hard. He worked like the second shift. So he got in late, and when we were growing up, he was like, boys take out the trash and girls do this other stuff. But girl, you're going to learn how to take out the trash and fix stuff and here's some tools and do all this stuff, because as he grew up in Alabama. And so he had that, down South, men are supposed to provide, women are supposed to nurture. But he also said, you're going to know how to do this stuff yourself, because you ain't going to be dependent on no man. And so it's like we had those traditional roles where boys, y'all better get this trash out, and girls, y'all better keep this house clean. But also he instilled in us, you don't need no man to fix stuff for you. You don't need a man to do certain stuff for you. When I was young, I used to go outside with my dad and he would be working on his car and I'd be right there, up under the car, and he'd be, oh, you don't need to get dirty. And I'd be looking at stuff and trying to figure out, well, if it sounds like this, then what is it? And his car had broke down one time. I was like, yeah, that's the starter. And they looking at the battery and alternate everything. And it was a starter. He's like, how you know it's a starter? Like, because for years you've been fixing this car. You fix different cars and you say, when to do this, then it's probably a starter. I listen. And so I think that a lot of times people instill in children the traditional gender roles, but they also take it that next step, like, but because you don't need to be dependent on a man to take care of you or a woman to feed you, let me teach you this other side. So when you enter into a relationship, you know that, hey, find out what works for you, but know that traditionally this is what's expected of you as a man or as a woman, but also know how to do this other stuff, because if that person who you love turns out to not be the person you want to be with, you need to be able to take care of yourself. And I think that's the takeaway that people need to grow up with is, can I actually take care of my whole self? Do I know how to pay bills? Can I cook? Can I clean? Can I do all these other things? Can I be a decent person for someone else? And then worry about what role am I going to play in the relationship I enter into.
Well, I want to say something here, okay? Everybody's spitting their spit out. Let me just say what Tessie is saying is absolutely correct, because that's the way I raised my sons, all 7 of them. You only need a woman for 1 or 2 things, but they do not to clean, they do not to cook, they do not to take care of themselves. And I don't want to take all the credit for that, because I give the credit to me and his father, their father, because he wanted a clean house. He wanted you to cook. We ain't have no girls. It was just me. Okay. So it ain't no girls in this house. It's just me. And I wasn't doing it all by myself. So these guys stepped in, and I am so blessed to have them, that they stepped in and they did what they supposed to have done, you know, by us telling them that they had to cook for yourself, clean for yourself, cook for you, work for yourself, do all the things for yourself. But when you get that wife, that's a bonus. It's a bonus, So I want to just say that to Tessie. Tessie came out and said that, I let my sons know that they don't need a woman if they ain't want to have a woman. And I ain't gonna say no man, I say a woman. If they ain't want to have a woman, I think they can handle themselves. I know they can handle themselves. That's it.
Oh, can I say one thing? I'm gonna be short. Y'all bring up the fact about being whole before you get married. I'm leaving it at that right there. Boom, there it is.
I just want to add to just quick second. I think from what Auntie said, and Tessie and Marlo and Jadea said, that I think in the gender role, we could sum it up as far as for me, the male and the woman. I feel like the father plays a role for the daughter, for the man of her life, and the mother played a role for the son, for the woman of her life, his life. And if you do have like Auntie all boys or all girls, I feel like we women bring an emotional part to the wholeness, like Marlo said, and the man brings the respect and the order into this other part of it as being a whole woman, a whole man. And I just think if we just think like that in raising our children, they all will be an asset to somebody else.
Yes.
That's what I think.
Judea, do you have anything? Because we have our viewer question right here. Okay, so are you ready, guys, for this? So
we are ready.
Okay, listen, first of all, I'd like to say thank you to the viewer. We would like to
thank you, viewer.
Yeah, we would like to say thank you.
So
it says, hey guys, I like your show. Okay.
Oh, and somebody like us.
I'm like, okay, thank you for liking our show. But it also says, I need help. It says, I have a teenager that don't talk any, wait a minute. I have a teenager that don't talk. Always talk short. Do you have a teenager? And if so, what did you do about it? What do you do? Sign, desperate father.
Oh, it's a dad.
Okay. First of all, they said, do you have a teenager? And if so, what did you do? Sign, desperate father. Okay. Okay, so I want everybody, I don't have teenagers, sir. Desperate father, I don't have teenagers, but I had sons, but I'm gonna give it to someone
that has teenagers
right now in this day and age. Go ahead. Let's take it. Judea, I go to my co-host, Judea. Go ahead.
When they talk short. So sounds like attitude-ish, right? Like, hey, how you doing? Fine. How was school? Good. Are you hungry? No. If it's that kind of talk short, I would say you gotta find an opening, right? Like find out what they like. It's your kid. So if it's a boy or a girl, take them to play some ball. Find activity. If they love food, take them out to eat and just have a conversation. Maybe they're short because there's things that they don't want to share, or it could just be that teenage attitude where everything is just, they're just so nonchalant about it. But let them feel like you a friend, not too much of a friend, because as parents, we gotta, there's that line. But allow your kid to feel comfortable with talking to you. Or maybe they just don't know what to say. And still, you gotta be able to bring out some sort of conversation, find something that you guys have in common. If it's watching sports, if it's watching comic movies, if it's, again, eat food. Everyone loves food. Like go to a nice restaurant and eat the incredible burger or something. But, find something that you two can connect on, and the conversations will start. Try to find, ask them to tell you something they never told somebody, or have a secret and keep it, because you got to become trustworthy to that kid. So
okay, advice. Come on, Tessie. Do you have a teenager, and what will you give this this
got two teenagers right now.
Okay.
What I do is find something that they're interested in and learn about it, and then talk about that, so that then they want to talk about other stuff. And then when you find something they're interested in and you hit them with, this, thing that they don't think you know about, they're like, hey, how you know about that? It's like, well, what do you know about it? And it might be something that you probably could possibly detest, really, but you get this excitement about it because that's what they like. So if it's just, regular teenage attitude, you find a common ground to get on.
Okay.
And, yeah. And if it's something else, you got to figure out how to just get them to talk. If it's because there's the talking to you, and then there's talking to other people, and those are two different things. So you get them involved with different kind of organizations that require them to talk.
Okay, well, Kiki, I want you to answer it too as well, because I'm looking at this question again, and it says, I have a teenager that don't talk. So let's get your input on that.
I totally get this, father, because I was desperate with my son. He's 13. He went and talked. He looked like he just was going through stuff.
Oh, wow.
And the number one thing, I don't know if this man is spiritual or not, but I went to the Father. I prayed for my son, and I asked God to give me the strategy on what to do with my son, how to reach him, because he was fighting all the time, but he wasn't letting out his emotions. He wasn't talking. So when I finally talked to God, and God gave me the answer, I began to spend time with my son on purpose. I started saying, you want to watch a movie? If he'd be like, I guess so. At them times, I didn't care about how he looked or his emotion. I began to spend time with him. And as I started to begin to spend time with him, like Judea and Tessa said, it started making him communicate with me and telling me what he like and he don't like. Then he likes football. So I started going to stores and saying, you want to get a football? You want to do this? I had to reach him where he was, not where I was. I had to go where my son was mentally, every area. And then I started hugging him, kissing him, letting him know, because sometimes with boys, we want them to have this tough exterior and don't cry. I wanted my son to know he can cry. Yeah. He can share his emotion. He could feel. And then I started saying, you want to go to the gym and just punch a bag and, release all your anger or what you're mad at, what you're frustrated about. And I got to know my son. So the key thing is getting to know your child, as we were saying, in relationship, and then you will find where you can meet him at. And that's the way he would bless me.
Okay, and well, viewer,
Carlos finger.
Viewer, I would like to say, we have an expert, we have a teacher on hand with us right now, Jamalo, and he could probably give us another example. Come on, Marlo.
Yeah, before he falls off his seat.
Right. So from a male going to another male, thank you. It is two things. Create the space and be consistent with it. When you create that safe space for your child, that will show them that, hey, I'm creating this space for you. You can come in. It don't matter. Like Kiki said, it don't matter what we doing. You can sit there and look at your phone all day, but we here together. Yeah. And with consistency, we'll set up a time, a space. Friday night, hey, want to go to the movies? Boom, we're going to the movies. Every Friday, we're doing something. That gives it the leeway to be able to, hey, okay, now I get it. Now I create that safe space. Now he's starting to talk. You're starting to learn more. And in the same token, as parents, if we learn to be transparent with our children, then they won't see us you're just a hard person. Guess what? I was out there tipping and dipping, backing that thing up and slipping and doing whatever I was doing at the same time. But that level of transparency will show them I'm human just like you. Boom, there it is.
Yeah, but see, I would like to think we talk about that male. How about if you had how about this father got a teenage daughter?
Same thing,
man. Same thing though. Yes. Yeah. But I do like what Kiki said, like prayer is key. Like that's the foundation for everything. Just a quick, hey, let's pray together real quick. Even if you're not into church or whatever, just finding, if it's meditation that you do, whatever, just a quick couple of minutes in the morning or whenever, just a quick, prayer with them, because that's foundation, man. Like that's foundation.
Well, listen, ladies, you got 3 minutes. Okay.
Sometimes the exterior don't mean the same, mean what they feel. My son looks mean. He's one word, but he's so soft inside. So he has to get to that part of his son, like where he can get to his heart and not just how he comes off and appear, especially as men, because men look hard on the outside and us women sometimes take advantage of that. Oh, we could say what we want, act how we want, and then they don't bother the man because it looks like they're hard. But when you really get to that man's heart, you get a different outcome. You get a different perspective. So
okay, we are. I'm sorry, ladies. This conversation is good. I thank God that we answer our homeboy question. I hope it helped you. And we supposed to play our little game. We got like a minute. We're gonna do. I bet you didn't know real quickly, because I know they want to know about us. I thank God that the guy said he liked our show. I don't know.
Come on here.
So and he said, and I forgot to read that it says you make me laugh and sometimes it's serious. So I'm just thankful that somebody is really listening to us. Okay, I bet you didn't know, okay? I bet you didn't know that I'm about to write a book. All right.
You didn't know there's a train passing my house right now, so I gotta put my phone back on you.
I bet you didn't know I'm at an undisclosed location. I got to sneak off and get away, and I'm excited. Hey.
I bet you didn't know I have a house of 5 kids in here.
I bet you didn't.
Okay, Marlo, with the breath, okay?
My bad. I'm sorry.
Less than a minute.
Okay, I bet you didn't know I know all of the stages of the moon. Yes.
All right, with that, I'm out.
He's so